Hello everyone, welcome to my civil engineering YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it and hit the bell icon to get notified when I post my new videos. Today, I'll be discussing regarding the concept of stress and strain. The concept of stress and strain basically deals with the principle of strength of a material. So, in my previous lecture series, I had discussed regarding strength of a material, which is nothing but the degree of amount of resistance offered by the intermolecular bonding of an object towards the external loading on an object is called as strength of material. So here the concept of stress is mainly dependent on strength of a material. So before going to the concept of stress, we need to know what is a load. Load is nothing but it is a criteria which gives a clear picture about a strength of material, and it is an external pressure or an impact offered against the intermolecular bond of an object which results in deformation or fracture of an object. So load is nothing but it is an external pressure or an impact offered against intermolecular bonding of an object which results in fracture or deformation of an object. So stress is nothing but it is an intensity of resisting force offered by the intermolecular bonding of an object per unit area towards the application of the load before failure is called as stress. So stress is nothing but it is the amount of resisting force offered by the intermolecular bonding per unit area towards the application of external load before failure is called as stress. So simple words, stress is nothing but force applied per unit cross sectional area of a object. So stress is equal to load applied or amount of resisting force of an intermolecular bonding per unit area of cross section of an object is called as stress. So here stress is represented by sigma. So stress is always represented by sigma. So sigma is equal to P by A or W by EA, where P is nothing but the load applied, W is nothing but load applied, or P it is also called as P, wherein we can take P and W as load applied or resisting force of the intermolecular bonding in the equilibrium condition. So then EA is equal to the area of cross section of the material. So SI units of the stresses are Newton per mm square or Newton per meter square or Newton per centimeter square. So next, coming on to the concept of strain. So here in the concept of strain, so it is nothing but whenever an object is subjected to the external load, initially there will be existence of the equilibrium condition wherein P is equal to W, where P is the magnitude of external load, W is the magnitude of the intermolecular bonding. So in the equilibrium condition, the deformation effect is negligible or zero because P is equal to W. But with a gradual increase of the magnitude of applied load, the dimension of the object will be altered in all the direction due to the deformation effect. So therefore, strain is defined as the ratio of change in dimension of an object to the original dimension is called as strain. So strain is nothing but the ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension is called as strain. So the ratio of change in dimension to the original dimension. So always strain is a unitless quantity. So next, coming on to the types of stress and strain. So first one is tensile stress and strain here. So here you can just I have a pictorial representation. I have considered a uniform bar of cross-sectional area equal to A. So subjected to the axial tensile force of magnitude equal to P, both the direction, so which is of equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So the stress at any section, whenever a section it is cut, so if at all, if I just take the section as xx, which is normal to the line of action of the tensile force P, is specifically called as tensile stress. So since the internal resistance R at xx is equal to applied force P, because it is in the equilibrium state. So therefore, tensile stress is equal to P by A or R by A, wherein P is the external load and R is the intermolecular resistance offered by the object. So when there is any existence of P equal to R condition, so tensile stress is equal to P by A, or it is also equal to R by A. So where A is the cross-sectional area of an object. So next is tensile strain here. So here you can just observe the sketch here. So the firstly the object, whenever there is a object, so when it is subjected to the load, tensile load of magnitude equal to P, there is the pulling force on both the direction, which tends to increase in the dimension of the object along the direction of the force. So here let L is the initial length of the object and P is the force applied, which is tensile in nature, both the directions, so which is of equal magnitude. So after the application of load, the initial length L of an object changes to the final length, that will be L plus dl, wherein L is the initial length and dl is the change in length. So dl by 2 and dl by 2 is the change in the length in two directions. So dl by 2 and dl by 2 adds up to dl. So therefore the final length of the object, elongated object, will be L plus dl. So under the tensile stress, the bar always suffers elongation or stretching. So therefore the ratio of increase in length to the original length is called as tensile strain. So in general, as I said, that strain is nothing but change in length by or change in dimension by original dimension. But here, as in case of tensile load which is applied, so change in dimension will always be equal to increase in dimension, because there will be increase in the dimension along the direction of the load applied. So therefore here tensile strain is nothing but dl divided by L here, dl by L, capital L. So dl is the elongation, so that is change in the length, and L is the original length, dl by L. So next, coming on to the compressive stress. So here I have made a bar which is subjected to the load of magnitude equal to P, which is of compressive in nature. So if the bar, when it is subjected to axial compression instead of axial tension, the stress developed in XX will be specifically called as compressive stress. So therefore, as in case of equilibrium condition, if it has existed at the section XX, in that case P is equal to R again. So therefore the compressive stress is equal to P by A, or it is also equal to R by A. So wherein A is the area of the cross section. So next, coming on to the compressive strain here. So in this compressive strain, so I have taken an object wherein L is the initial length of the object. So as soon as the load of P is applied, of magnitude is P is applied in both the direction. So there is the pushing nature of the force which is applied in both the direction, which causes shrinking of the object along the direction of the force, so that the length will be decreased, the final length will be decreased. The initial length was compared to the initial length. So here you can just observe L is the initial length and L minus DL is the final length, where DL by 2 and DL by 2 is the shrinkage in both the direction. So if I add that, it will be DL by 2 plus DL by 2, it will be DL. So if I just deduct that, it will be L minus DL, which is the final length due to the application of compressive force. So therefore, under compressive stress, the bar will always suffers the shortening. So therefore, the ratio of decrease in length to the original length is termed as compressive strain. So here DL divided by L is the compressive strain, where DL is the decrease in length and L is the original length. So next, coming on to the shear stress here. So I have taken two bars here. I have taken two bars wherein it is bolted. It is bolted with a nut here, and two bars are subjected to the tensile load of magnitude equal to P both the directions. So as soon as you apply the elongated force in both the directions, so there is the initiation of tensile stress which is created. So wherein it results in shearing of the connecting nut between the two bars, which causes the shear stress in the connecting nut. So therefore, the stress which is the tangential stress which is due to the force P is called as shear stress, and the stress set up at the section XX acts along the surface of the section, that is along the direction of the tangent to the section, which is specifically called as shear or tangential stress, and it is represented as Q, which is equal to P by A, or it is also equal to R by A as in case of equilibrium condition. So the next is shear strain. So in this case, the shear strain, I have taken a sketch here wherein ABCD is the initial position of the object. So wherein CD is the fixed end and AB is the free end and H is the height of the object. So if the force is applied at the face of A in the horizontal direction, so the A and B position will be changed to A dash and B dash, but CD will be remaining as it is. So as soon as there is a change in position of A to A dash and B to B dash, the length will be equal to DL by 2 and DL by 2, so that there is a creation of the shear stress at the planes, so that along with the creation of shear stress, with the change of positions from A to A dash and B to B dash, there is also a creation of the angle which is called as theta. So therefore, shear strain is nothing but the transverse displacement to the distance, or it is also called as height. So therefore, the ratio of transverse displacement to the height of the object is called as shear strain. So here tan theta is equal to the shear strain. So here tan theta is nothing but opposite by adjacent. So here the opposite side is a dash, as in case of triangle a dash and c. Tan theta is equal to a dash divided by ac, wherein a dash is equal to dl by 2 divided by h. So here, since theta is very small, tan theta is equal to theta. So therefore theta is equal to dl divided by 2h. So this is what the representation of shear strain. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.